Risen Star Stakes is this Saturday. It's the first Derby prep worth 50 points. That means basically if you win, you'll probably find yourself in the starting gate on the first Saturday in May at the Kentucky Derby. I have a single, and it is not Paladin.
And I think his single is wrong.
What's up, everybody? This is Doubling Down with Colin and Vinny. I'm Colin. He's Vinny. Vinny, we got off the snide last week, or at least I did, coming home with a nice double, $18 double on a $2 ticket. Not too shabby.
Not at all. Not at all. I was close. I was close. I had the right single, and I believe I ran like second and third in the race before. So it happens. It happens. We were close. Yeah.
Safi in Florida. That's all you need to worry about. And that's got our home with Concrete Glory, who ended up getting a really nice speed figure out of that race. And then Renegade, the horse that we're going to have a hunch is going to come up on the course of this show. I mentioned that this is the first 50-point prep, Vinny. We'll take a look at your latest Kentucky Derby standing. Silent Tactic on top with Renegade, who both have 25 points. Of course, Ted Noffey coming off of that list. Coming off the Derby Trail, leads this to become a wide open race for the gate, in my opinion. And I think that we're going to start seeing some big movement as these horses will start picking up 50 points. And the Risen Star, Saturday at Fairgrounds, we're going to put together a daily double using race number 11, the Rachel Alexandra Stakes. That's for filly 3-year-olds. Field of 8. Very intriguing double here, especially I'm kind of playing a little contrarian, and we'll get into the Risen Star in a little bit. I'm not really being contrarian because I left Paladin on my ticket, but I'm just not singling them, and I think a lot of people might, and I think that there's a possibility that he gets beat, but let's jump into it first. Here we go. Race number 11, Saturday. Rachel Alexandra, Field of 8, Vinny. Where'd you land?
I landed on the favorite, number 3, Bella Ballerina, on top. I just feel like she's improved in her first 2 starts. And her first 2 starts are better than pretty much anybody else. There's a couple in here who've run kind of close to what she's run, but she beat them. Like last time out, she beat the number 1 Just Sing. He was your second morning line, second choice. She beat her, and I mean, like, maybe she could flip the script. I don't know. I feel like this one just keeps getting better. Pedigree suggests that this one should just keep getting better. So I wasn't trying to beat her today.
Godolphin bred, Godolphin owned, Brendan Walsh with Tyler Gaffleone, who's up for the 3rd time. We get a race lens angle pop there when it's a stakes race, and the true odds win percentage for race lens is over 30%. You can see the success score of 8.2. That is very high. So you're getting a nice angle there for yourself. We use the past performances. When you see blue on our PPs, that means that it is the highest Equibase speed figure in the race. Highest Equibase speed figure as well in the race at the distance and surface. So has that 1.16 victory under her. Vinny, we've talked about this 2 weeks ago regarding the Holy Bull and why I said you might want to pay attention to nearly as opposed to who your pick was, which was horses that hadn't raced since November. So yeah. I saw exactly what you saw. My first pass through this race was this looks like a tough horse to beat. 85, 88. Yes, the 88's the highest speed figure in the race, but not by much. It's not like this is a standout where, remember Decode, who had the 107, and we were able to look at that horse and say, well, it only runs 6 furlongs, and is that going to translate to a much longer race? I know I'm flirting with fire here. I looked at the works. One thing I kind of want to pay attention to, Vinny, is remember, Oaklawn had all that ice problems and the track was shut down. And I'm trying to see if there's workout patterns that maybe are interrupting some of these horses who are coming into these big preps. Not the case for Bella Ballerina, who has been at Fairgrounds. So I saw the consistent works January 16th, January 23rd, Bullet on January 30th, going 5 furlongs, 1 out of 44. That stands out for me. Comes back February 7th, goes out and does a nice 4 furlongs and 48 and 4. You had mentioned the dam. I really like, I'm making a lot of cases for her, but then I left her off my ticket because I don't know. We'll see if I'm right or if I'm wrong, but I looked at that date that I said, right? And I saw that November, and I started going through and looking at some replays, and I found the number 5, Powered by Family, who has this race on January 10th under her belt. 84 is not far off from that 88 that you had just spoken about. I was really impressed with this race. Now, this horse has had some trouble getting out of the date. Let's go to the first race for Powered by Family. It's right in the middle here in number 5, I believe. You can see, look how far back already is, right? So immediately behind the field by quite a substantial amount. Now, this is the first time this horse is running. We'll fast forward. It is the number 5. Doesn't get to the top there, but there you see finished 4th. So I thought that was a nice run. Had come wide in that race to close. You're starting to hear a trend of how I kind of talked about Silent Tactic, because second time out, Powered by Family once again has some trouble getting out of the gate, and is the number on the way all the way on the outside here. Breaks way to the outside is the number 11. So goes into the first turn behind the field already. Takes this first turn completely wide. It's actually number 13. Sorry. Number 11 is Lewinsky. We'll go to the second turn here. This is her in the back, flying, coming all the way to the outside, right? 7 furlongs. But once she gets into the middle here, I thought that this was a really nice stretch run, right? So we're going to have to deal with some of these problems that we just talked about. Getting out of the gate cleanly is obviously a concern. Not being 7 wide coming around the second turn is a concern. But this is the horse's third performance. And I don't think that it's too wild with Jose Ortiz and Sherry DeVoe, who we've talked about recently being, really having some success. If we can not be 11 lengths behind at the beginning of the race, I think Powered by Family's got a shot here. And because of what I'm going to do in the second leg of my ticket, I decided to just try and get by with the number 5, Powered by Family. Have I convinced you at all that I have a shot, or am I in trouble?
No, I mean, if the other horses, like you said, like she's like pretty much the only horse in this race who isn't coming off that like November, December layoff. There's a couple others in here. I think the 6 also ran in January, but for the most part, most of this field is coming off that November, December layoff. So if that layoff if it gets those other horses, horse makes sense. I didn't like the horses coming off of Lasix. The last race was in the slop. I don't love seeing one big effort in the slop and then expecting them to repeat that on a dry track. So it does bite me sometimes, but the one big effort in the sloppy track, it was kind of like, okay, like we'll see. But I don't.
I'd argue though that this was the beginning was so bad that I'd argue that right in here, this closing off on this track was actually much better than it looks. Now the speed figure's not going to come back because of the start, but was closing nicely. I think that is kind of what gave me a little confidence. It was at 7 furlongs. If this race was longer, I think the distance also affected Powered by Family. In a shorter race, when you get off that bad and you're that wide, you're going to have a hard time putting up a good figure.
Agreed. It's the slot, the jump in the slop is always just a concern for me. It's one of those angles that like I don't love unless the race was going to be in the slop again. The race is going to be in the slop again, then absolutely. But just one of those horses that I had to leave off because of that. And if it bites me, it bites me.
You decided to use the 7 as well. The Good Magic,
yeah,
$375,000 out of a Malibu Moon mare, Majestical.
Yeah, was in that same first race as the number 5. Just missed finishing second. Had I rad up that day, then came back here at Fairgrounds about a month later at a mile and a 16th and won pretty convincingly. I don't know what she beat. She was on Lasix that day, and she was the heavy favorite. She went off at sub even money. But another one that just like improved from first start to second start. The jump was like it wasn't like a huge jump, so like slow improvement. Uh, I just thought this horse had a shot at like one. I think the distance fits with the good magic out of the Malibu Moon Dam. Uh, and two, with the exception of like a couple of these that have run like in the low 80s, like I don't see why this horse couldn't run a low 80 here off the layoff. And if the if mid 80s is going to win this race, which it might, I didn't think this horse was too far of a stretch. So especially not being the favorite or probably second choice, probably will be around that third. Morning line's 4-1 will probably be like third choice, co-third choice. I thought the money was worth putting on the ticket.
Yeah, and this trainer Peter Urton has had some recent success with horses moving up in class. 56 starts, 18% winning, and plus 67 ROI. So you're getting a nice angle there from Race Lens as well on the number 7 Majestical. Anything else you want to add for this race, or are we good?
I think that's it. I mean, I guess some people might end up on the number 1. She closed nice last time out against the 3. I don't know. It does get the jockey change to Johnny, which is big. I just wasn't really a fan of this one. I kind of thought that was the race. I know she's improved. She has improved each time out, but I don't know. I thought that last race was kind of like if she was gonna do it, it was that race, and I think she is now. You got 6-1 on her that day. You're gonna get less than half of that today. Sure, she might win, but I feel like this is kind of like the trap race where everybody's now gonna jump on her because she almost caught the 3 last time out, and you're gonna take a fraction of the price you took that day. So for value standpoint, I just tossed her.
Absolutely. So you can see here on the side screen, we have Sherbet Coffee, who's sponsoring our daily double contest this month. It's free to play. Head on over to doublingdown.glide.page. The top 3 winners are going to win free coffee. And I meant to bring down my pack, but next week I will because I drink it. It's great. They give back to Horse Aftercare. They actually have a pretty cool saddle shoe that's up for sale. We may have missed the day to get it in, but they're selling this really nice, pretty cool. I thought this was slick saddle shoe. So check out sherbetcoffee.com. They are big supporters of us, and we are big supporters of them, and we want you to enjoy their coffee as well. We're going to take a quick time out, and when we come back, we will discuss the Risen Star Stakes, the first Derby prep worth 50 points. Here we go, Vinny. It's Valentine's Day, Risen Star Stakes, field of 8, and Paladin is obviously the marquee name on the ticket. This is the horse that had that really nice stretch run against Renegade. Renegade came back to win the Sam F. Davis last time out. That's who we talked about at the beginning of this show, which was our single on that day. I'm going to bring up the past performances here because you're also going to see a horse by the name of Courting, which I think is intriguing. This horse is was only sold for $5 million. The full sibling to Clairiere, Todd Pletcher trained. Johnny Velasquez is back aboard. This horse ran in that same Remsen Stakes, finishing 4th behind Paladin and Renegade. You already alluded to having a single, and since you didn't have the single in the first leg, we will lead that to believe that you are singling a horse in here.
Yeah, I'm singling Paladin. He was number 2 on my Derby board until Ted Noffey got hurt. Now he's number 1. Renegade kind of just cemented that last week. Renegade looked fantastic. Chad Brown typically does not ship out of New York. unless he has a horse that's like that he thinks is the real deal. Uh, this is horse is taking like this exact same path that Sierra Leone took. I third start, sure something could go wrong, but like this has been from what I've heard, this has been his number one Derby prospect in his barn since he got him as a 2-year-old, and I don't see why if he wasn't fully cranked to win this one, I don't see why you would ship him here. I think he's gonna go here. He'll go to the Bluegrass next, the prep for the Derby. He just looks really good, and if he improves off this race, I just don't see anybody in the field getting a good shot at him. I don't think I don't think he's one of those horses that's ever going to win by 5-10 lengths, but I think he'll win. He'll win separating himself late.
Yeah, I can't disagree. It's interesting that Tyler Gaffley owns aboard, not Pratt, who rode him the first 2 times. And everything you've said is, I kind of feel similar, and maybe my ticket structure is a little weak with including this horse and 2 others, but I have this inkling that there are 2 in here that can maybe pull the upset. And so Paladin's on my ticket. We're not going to toss him completely because I'm pretty confident, as in you are, that he is going to be your winner on Saturday. Racelens agrees. Racelens does not agree, actually. Sorry. Racelens has Paladin second to a horse that I am actually pretty intrigued in. The number 5, Chip Honcho. And you're going to have to hear me out on this one because I know you're going to think I'm crazy.
That's wild that Racelens has this horse that high.
Well, Racelens is smart, just like the user Colin Sheehan. And look, Racelens maybe is giving us something here that you want to pay attention to. So here's how I'm going to make my case. This horse is trained by Steve Asmussen. This horse wants to be on the front end. They're taking the blinkers off. In this last race, the horse had the blinkers on, and there's points of this race as I was watching the replay that just really wasn't uncomfortable. On the backstretch, this horse wants to go. Look at Luis Saez right there, pulling back as hard as he can on Chip Honcho, who's wearing the blinkers in this race. I like that they moved to Saez, who we know is a jockey that can absolutely handle horses on the front end. Even though Steve Asmussen's not great taking off the blinkers, I looked up those statistics. They don't really follow through with I think I see a lot of things here about how this can change. It's the one thing that didn't back me up, the data on Steve Asmussen taking the blinkers off on the dirt. But I'm wondering from what I saw on the backstretch there that if they can just let this horse get comfortable and get out on the front end without the blinkers, he's not that far off in this race here. Thought he closed really nicely to the horse. Golden Tempo is a horse who I'm not really intrigued by. He finishes, a length and a half here behind Golden Tempo. Let me see Golden Tempo do it again. To me, in that stretch run, Golden Tempo, I'm hearing so much about how great he looked and how much he was closing. And we watched it. We both agreed. We both had him on our ticket. Like, I'm contradicting what I said maybe 3 weeks ago with you. But to me, watching Golden Tempo come down, it almost felt like laboring in a way. And so now he's coming back pretty quickly. That race was January 17th. I understand Chip Honcho was in that same race, but I wonder how much it took out of Golden Tempo versus maybe let's get Chip Honcho on the front end. Let's let him relax. Let's have Luis Saez do it. I think I'm going to get better than 6-1. I don't know what you think. I'm usually not as great at figuring out what my odds are going to be.
I think you will.
So that's my case, and I'm just going off of what I saw in that replay. Like on that backstretch, man, that horse wanted to go, and he was literally being held back, and I think that cost him that race. So let's let him get out on the front end, and let's see what, I said Paladin's probably your winner, so you're taking a shot here. The other horse I'm going to take a shot with is the number 8, Quality Mischief, and this is, if you watched my preview earlier this week, I saw a lot of things that I saw with Silent Tactic, who I got home at 13-1. A horse watching the replay was really willing coming down the stretch. And he had 2 issues in this stretch run when he comes around the turn, just being behind traffic. I think he had the horse and just gets hung up here. Then he has to get he's right in here with the green. Right there, he's in traffic. There, he's in traffic. Now he's got to cut to the outside. Now he gets to the outside. He gets bumped there by the 4. He's starting to pick up momentum. The 7's going to come out a little bit on him. Right. He kind of gets behind the 7. So then he's got to kick back a little bit more to the right. It just wasn't a clean run. And at this point, he's closing on the 2 horses I just talked about, right? I mean, he's closing on Chip Honcho and maybe not picking up as much ground on Golden Tempo. But let's get him a clean trip, and let's see what Quality Mischief can bring to the table. I like the move back to Florent Giroux. And at 10-1, let's throw some shots on my ticket, and let's see if we can get another $20, $25 double home.
Yeah, I can't fault you for it. I don't think that race is so far coming back very strong at all. So that was kind of my other. That was my one thing about that Lecomte is like visually it looked impressive, like we said, when Golden Tempo closed like that, and then the numbers came back and it was like, oh, maybe this field's not that good. Like maybe he just caught a bad field.
Yeah, he got an 85 in that race, and then you got 84, 83, 81 for the top 4.
My one thing with Chip Honcho, because I do think he's a neat horse. He tries hard every race. I hope they don't ruin him trying to chase the Derby, because I don't think he's a Derby horse. I think he's a turf horse, and I think he has a very good future on the turf. And I feel like it's Asmussen, and they're just chasing this. Like I feel like the best thing for him, like if I'm completely wrong and he wins here, sure. But I feel like the worst thing for this horse is going to be to come in 2nd or 3rd, and they're like, "Oh,
get a couple points." Yeah.
Right. I think that would be the absolute worst thing for this horse, because like he just looks like a turf horse to me. He looks like a turf horse that wants to be on the front end, like you said, and like he's got good speed. Like I don't think he's got bad. Like I don't think he's like a pushover. I going that far on the dirt, I don't think his pedigree really wants to do that on the dirt, but on the turf. Like mile and a 16th, mile and an 1/8 on the turf, I think he could be super dangerous. So I'm like part of me really wants to see it. Like I don't want to see him run badly, but I want to kind of see him run I either want to see him win and I'm completely wrong on him, or him do badly enough that they actually throw him on the turf. Because I think he's a horse that like in the American turf on Derby Day could be like a legitimate threat. Because horse is definitely a 2-turn horse. He's got the turf pedigree, connect out of an Irish dam. Like he's a turf horse. I want to see him run on the. It was kind of like when they finally put Classic Causeway on the turf a few years back. It was like I waited 6 months for them to put him on the turf. Like he just seems like that's what he wants to do.
Then he smoked. Before we get out of here, Forever Young is running in the Saudi Cup, and artist David Barista, if you guys don't follow him, is unbelievable. He sent us out these trading cards. I was lucky enough to get Forever Young, and Vinny was lucky back in November, but his luck has run out with his Ted Nafi card.
Hey, he's still the juvenile champ. He's still undefeated. Maybe we'll see him again. I'm happy with the Ted Nafi card, even if he's not going to win the Derby. Maybe he stays undefeated and we see him later this year.
It's davidbarista.com. Check out this paper mache made out of past performances. To me, this was so sick. He's got some awesome artwork. He's got this one with the colors. It's almost like the circles and squares that my friend Vinny likes to talk about. That's what this one's made out of. Got some really great artwork on his website. Here's all the trading cards for the Breeders' Cup from last year for Santa Anita. So it's davidbarista.com. Great friend of the show, and he's going to be possibly providing our June prize. So you're going to have an opportunity. So get over there and support him as well. He does an awesome job. Quick, before we get out of here, here's our tickets. I'm going to go 4 with the 458. Vinny is going to go 3-7 with the 4. Stay tuned. We'll have race replay reaction to the Risen Star. We get the Sunland Derby on Sunday. Maybe we'll do a quick short on that. So please hit that subscribe button. We are 2 subscribers away from 50. So let's get us over that top for the 50 points that were given out in the Kentucky Derby. Swing on into doubling down.glide.page. I should actually, we got 1 minute left here. Let's give the people the model for Fairgrounds for Saturday. So the model that we've been working on. And you'll be happy, Vinny, because it gives Bella Ballerina and Paladin. So when you see blue here, that means that there's a big enough point differential between first and second that I'm trying to figure out if those are horses you would single. So in this particular instance, we got Brilliant Birdie, Bella Ballerina, Paladin. We might get some chalky to close us out on Saturday.
Yep. I am glad. I did kind of like Cameo Performance a little bit in that 10th too, with Brilliant Birdie underneath. So that was kind of I like that. I like that it shows that
hit show.
Yeah, hit show. I gotta try it. I'm trying to beat him, but if he wins, he wins. He's one of those. He's one of those horses. I like when he's a price. Don't love when he's a short price. But yeah, it should be a Risen Star Day at Fairgrounds. Always a fun day to bet, especially the undercard. You should get some. As we get into the stakes races, sometimes they do end up being a little on the chalky side, but that's why we play doubles, play a pick 3 with our picks, and you can turn a horse that's even money into, like last weekend what Colin did, 18 to 1 on that 18 to 1 on the double, singling Renegade, who was 3 to 5, I think, right, or 4 to 5 or something like.
Yeah,
like
that's
18,
how.
Turning it. Yeah. That's how you turn a favorite into a profitable day. So,
and that's what we will continue to try and do here, right on Doubling Down Show YouTube channel. I'm Colin. He's Vinny. Always be doubling down, and until next time, good luck, everybody.